Hello students, welcome back to the session. In this session today we are going to discuss the chapter gravitation, which is in continuation to the previous classes. The topic of discussion today is gravitational field intensity. So the students, what exactly we mean by gravitational field? See, any field is a region in space where its effect means gravitational effect of a body can be experienced. That is called gravitational field. Magnetic field is a region in space where the effect of a magnet can be felt, can be experienced. So field is basically a region in space where characteristic effects can be experienced. That is exactly what we mean by field. So prefix tells us what is the effect that we want to see there. So gravitational force, electrical field, electric force, effect of a charge, magnetic field, effect of a magnet in that space. So they are the corresponding fields. How to measure the strength of that field? How to measure the strength of that field means how strong the force is, how weak the force is. So if we are able to make out that it is a measure of intensity. What is the meaning of the word intensity? Intensity means how strong, how weak that particular force is. So that is exactly what is called gravitational field intensity. So basically gravitational field intensity is the measure of the gravitational force on a unit mass when placed at a point in the gravitational field of mass. So intensity of gravitational field, since it's a force, it is basically we define it as a force, therefore it is a vector quantity. I intensity is equal to, we can say, F by M. Now if M is equal to 1 unit mass, intensity is same as F. And what we write? F as G M by R square. This is how we write intensity equation. Now this is the force on the mass. So if I say force exerted by M and the force on the mass, they are in opposite direction. So intensity is a force on a unit mass. So I will be set as minus of Gm by R square, and we will put a unit vector to show the direction. So it is minus of, so the magnitude, this means magnitude of the gravitational field intensity is given as Gm by R square. This is how we find out the intensity of the magnetic field at a place in the field of mass M. See, this can be visualized this way. Let us say this is one mass M1. Now the field of M, here we wish to measure at P. We want to see what is the strength of the gravitational field because of the mass M. The distance is R units. So from this we can say F is equal to G M into 1. Here I will place 1 unit mass. upon r square. This is what we get as force. So this F is gm by r square. This is nothing but the intensity. Force, so intensity is nothing but force per unit mass. That is exactly how we are able to numerically define intensity. Otherwise, you see the formula comes out as G, that is universal gravitational constant. M is the mass of that body whose strength of the gravitational field is to be measured, upon r square. R is the distance or the location of that point where the strength of the field is to be measured. So what exactly is happening is, at that point we are placing a unit mass. So the force on the unit mass, so m is 1 unit. That is the reason why we are putting a minus sign, because we have taken it as a vector quantity where the direction has to be accounted for. This is how we get the intensity of gravitational field. So how to define intensity of gravitational field? Intensity of gravitational field can be defined by this equation. It is the force experienced by a unit mass when placed at that point in the gravitational field without disturbing the field. That is exactly how we define gravitational field intensity. Now suppose you want to find the unit of measurement, Newton per kg. See, the unit of measurement will be Newton per kg. Now suppose you say, what will be the dimensional formula for intensity of gravitational field? Pass on the dimension of force, which is mass into acceleration. So m L t power minus 2 divided by m. So m cancels out, you get what? L t power minus 2. Otherwise also you see, force is mass into acceleration upon mass. So intensity of gravitational field will have the dimension of acceleration only, that is Lt minus 2. That is exactly how everything about the gravitational field intensity can be understood. This formula, this magnitude, this is magnitude of intensity of gravitational field in numericals, which will be used extensively. Well students, let us see how exactly the gravitational field intensity for different mass distribution we can find out, because this will give us an idea how to use the expression for gravitational field intensity in different situations. See, the first case I am taking is of solid sphere. Solid sphere means it is, you just visualize it as a shot put, solid sphere. Now for a solid sphere, let us say mass of the sphere, mass of sphere is m and radius of sphere is r. Three situations arise. Case 1 I am taking. The point is outside the sphere. Let us say the point is somewhere here, A. This is R. So when I take case 1, what exactly is that? At A. And how do you define it? R greater than radius. That is what we can say, outside the sphere. If the point is outside the sphere, now how to find that? Intensity. Again, in order to find field intensity, wherever we wish to find the gravitational field intensity, the first step is place a unit mass there. Wherever we wish to find out the field intensity, place a unit mass. Place a unit mass. Now second step, find the force experienced by the unit mass due to the given sphere. So now F will be gm into 1 upon r square. This is what we can say. So therefore I can say intensity I will be g m by r square minus of r. This is what we can say, because it will be directed from mass to the center. That is why it is minus r. So this is what we get. So from this what we can say, intensity is inversely proportional to r square. Very important. This is what we can say, intensity is directly proportional to r square. You can put a minus of r like this. This is how we can say the variation of intensity for a point outside the sphere. Second case, if we take, case 2 is at B. Where is B? B is on the surface of the sphere. This is B. So at B means on the surface of the sphere. On the surface of the sphere. So what we have when it is on the surface? R is equal to R. So therefore we can say F is equal to G into M into 1 by R square. This means that intensity I is equal to Gm by R square, and we will write it as minus of R. So this is what we have. So it's a constant. That's a constant. It is not a variable. This is what we have. Now the most important is the case 3. Very important. That is at C. Where is C? Let us try to locate it. C is somewhere inside. See, this point is C, somewhere inside. Inside. So at C means inside the sphere. Inside the solid sphere. If we take a point inside the solid sphere, please observe. Now what we have is, effectively this is the sphere which you have considered. So what we will say here, F will be what? G. The whole solid sphere will not be effective because you are not considering the sphere of radius r. It is less. It is less. Therefore we will write it as m dash into 1 by r square. This is what we can say. So this means intensity will be what? G m dash upon r square, and we have unit vector. Now what will be m dash? How much will be m dash? Now this is a solid sphere. Let us say, for example, we were taking the case of shot put. The density of the material of the shot put is going to remain constant throughout. So density is constant. So what we can say now is density is equal to mass by volume. This is known to us. So I can write density as mass, volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Please concentrate. Mass of the sphere is m when the radius is r. But if the mass is different, this means radius is also different. So what we get now from this? M by r cube is equal to m dash by r cube. So here m dash can be written as what? So we can write m dash as g by r square. M dash is r cube upon r cube into m. This is what we have. Simplify. When we simplify, please observe r square here cancels out. So what we get now? We get intensity expression as g m by r cube into r minus r. This is exactly what we get. So what is the variation? What is the variation? Intensity is directly proportional to r. Now, if we try to plot a graph, very important, if we try to plot a graph for the kind of variation that we have seen, see here, we are plotting a graph. See, this is center. Here I am plotting r on both sides. This position is r equal to r. See, correct? This is the region where we say r is less than r. This is the region where r is greater than r. Correct? And this is the point where we have r equal to r. Now, for r less than r means this case at C. Point is inside the sphere. So for the point inside the sphere, what do we see? Intensity of gravitational field. Intensity of gravitational field is, this is 0 because it is on the negative side. So r equal to r. So what we can plot, how we can plot the equation. So the equation will tell us what will be the nature of the graph, right? See here what we have. For the point which is this straight line we are having, intensity is directly proportional to r. Please see here. Intensity is directly proportional to r. So it will be a straight line passing through origin. So the graph will be a straight line passing through origin. So it will be like this. And at B we have seen it is a constant, so gm by r square. This value is gm by r square. Then for the point which is greater, for the first case, we see that it is inversely proportional to r square. Therefore, the graph will be like this. This is exactly how we can say the variation of the graph would be. So here we say intensity is directly proportional to r. Here intensity is inversely proportional to r square. This is exactly how the graph of intensity of gravitational field for a solid sphere would look like. See, it is passing through origin. It is of the type y is equal to m into x. It passes through the origin, that is why it is. And this magnitude is how much? This will be gm by r square. That is the value of the constant which is there on the surface of the sphere. Well students, let us take one more situation. The situation is of a hollow sphere. Gravitational field intensity due to a hollow sphere. Okay, hollow sphere you can visualize like say football, basketball, hollow sphere. Now again we will have first case at A. The point A is outside the sphere. Let us say it is here. So this point is R. It is outside the sphere. So for a point which is outside the sphere, again we can say wherever we wish to find the gravitational field intensity, we place a unit mass. So m equal to 1 unit if we place, now F will be G m into 1 upon r square. So this means we can say intensity is Gm by r square, and we get a minus r. So what we can conclude? We can conclude magnitude of intensity is inversely proportional to r square. This is same as what we had in the previous case. In case of a solid sphere also we had the same thing, because when the point is outside, whether the sphere is hollow or solid, it makes no difference, because the entire mass is going to exert a force on the mass placed at A. That is why whether it is hollow or solid, it doesn't matter for a point outside the sphere. This is what we get for case A. Now if we go for case 2, case 2 is at B, which is on the surface of the sphere, where r is equal to r. So put the value of r is equal to r in this equation. So what you will get? I is equal to Gm by r square. That's a constant. Because G is a constant, M is a constant, this R is a constant, so we can say intensity is a constant. What about the third case? That is case 3 at C. So if we try to represent that, B is somewhere here, where it is R equal to R, and C is somewhere here. This is when we say R is less than R. So when R is less than R, when a point is inside, this is very important. At C, R is less than R. That is inside. When the point is inside, now is there a surface at C where a unit mass can be placed? There is no surface, because it is hollow. That is the reason why what we say is intensity will be 0. Please remember this. Intensity, because there is no surface where you can place the mass. So where is a question of force? See, all the masses are present here on this surface of this hollow sphere. Is there any mass inside to exert force on the mass placed at C? There is nothing. That is there is no matter inside, na? If there was matter inside, then we would have called it as a solid sphere. But this is hollow sphere, there is no matter inside. That is the reason why it becomes, I becomes 0. Now if we say that I is becoming 0, now let us try to plot the graph. Again the same thing, plot the graph. So what we have? Please understand how exactly we are plotting it. This is 0. This is R equal to R. Here I have R less than R, and here I have R greater than R. This is what we have. Now intensity is 0, and on the surface it is constant. So what we can say? This is what you will have, and then it is 0. So from here you will take the graph like this. This is exactly how the variation goes. It is a constant here. This is what is the graph for a hollow sphere. On the side which is R less than R, there is no graph, because intensity is 0. there is no graph. So but here we have, so it goes this way. See, it is this way. So on this side also you will have the same thing like this, and if you plot a graph, it will go this way, and on both sides it will be like this. This is exactly how the variation of intensity of gravitational field for a hollow sphere would be plotted. Students, now let us see some numericals which are based on the concepts of gravitation which we have seen till now. See, the first question is this way: if the gravitational force were to vary inversely as the mth power of distance. Normally in the Newton's law of gravitation we have seen that the gravitational force varies as inversely as square of the distance. Now here it says don't consider as square, take it as power m. So what is given, if I write it symbolically, gravitational force inversely as r power m, this is what it means. Then find the time period of a planet in a circular orbit of radius r around the sun. So it is something, diagrammatically if you see, it is something like this. This is, we have the orbit, and here we have sun, and the planet is somewhere here. Okay, and the orbit radius is given as s. Now since it is moving in a circular path, we know that for any body to move in a circular path, the essential force required is a centripetal force. So students, try to identify, try to locate what is providing centripetal force. Centripetal force cannot be provided by any external agent, correct? Centripetal force is generated by the arrangement of the body in that particular system. Now observe here. Here the sun will exert a gravitational force on the planet. So this gravitational force is equal to the centripetal force, which means that the required centripetal force is being provided by the gravitational force of attraction between the two. So what we can say here, the gravitational force is providing the centripetal force. So G, mass of sun into mass of planet upon r square is equal to mr, we can write omega square. Centripetal force, you can write it as mv square by r or mr omega square. Why are we writing this way? Because time period is asked, so that will be in omega. That is why we have written it in terms of omega. Now simplify this equation. Here you see r square is there, na? It says that take it power m. So what you will do now? It says this will be what? R power m you will write. This is what you will write. Got it? Now please simplify. This is what is to be understood. M and m cancels out. So what we get now? Omega square is equal to G m by r power m plus 1, because r will come to the denominator, so you get r power m plus 1. So we get omega square as this. So this means omega is square root of G into mass of sun upon r m plus 1, and omega is what? 2 pi by t. So this is 2 pi by t. So from this we can say t is equal to 2 pi r power m plus 1 by 2 upon root of gm. This is how we can find out the time period. And if suppose it is said find what time period is proportional to, so I can say t is proportional to, because 2 pi is a constant, g is a constant, mass of sun is also constant, r power m plus 1 by 2. This is how we can also state in terms of proportionality, taking away the constant. That is exactly how such questions can be solved. Well students, now let us take the next concept. It is gravitational potential. What is gravitational potential? See, this is, let us say, Earth, and some point is there. Now here m is 1 unit. This is r. Gravitational potential is, it is work done. Work done to move a unit mass from infinity to a particular point without disturbing the field there. Work done in moving a unit mass from infinity to a particular point. So work done, so we will say dW is equal to F dr. If I say I am moving a small distance dr, then work done is F dr. F is what? G m into 1 upon r square dr. So dW is equal to gm by r square dr. This is what we get. This is small work done. This is the work done when we move a unit mass by a small distance dr. Now total work done W is integration of dW. So this gives us gm integration of 1 by r square dr. We are moving the mass from infinity to a particular point, let us say this is r. So now if you find out, so W will be, gm is constant, integration of 1 by r square will be 1 by r from infinity to a point. So this gives you gm minus 1 by r minus minus plus. So we can say this is called potential, and we write Vg for gravitation. So minus of gm by r. This is exactly what is called gravitational potential. If here we have considered 1 unit mass, if you consider the entire mass of the body, then the same expression will be multiplied by m, because you took here 1 mass, 1 unit mass. If you take the entire mass of the body, you will multiply this by m, that becomes potential energy. So what is potential energy? Work done to move the entire mass from infinity to a particular point. This we have seen in gravitational potential energy. Same thing, what is gravitational potential? Work done to move a unit mass. So it comes out as minus of gm by r. Now you can extend this to solid sphere, hollow sphere. So where again the same concept. If I take it as a hollow sphere, gravitational potential outside the sphere, it will be minus of gm by r. On the sphere, it will be gm by r radius. Inside the sphere, it will be what? It will be a constant gm by r. That is exactly how we can find out potential at different locations for different configurations of mass distribution. Well students, let us take one question which will help us understand gravitational field intensity and potential in a better way. So see this numerical. Two masses m1 and m2 are placed d distance apart. Find the gravitational potential at a point between them where the gravitational field intensity is 0. Now see, if I see it in the form of a diagram, let us say this is m1. Here I have m2. They are placed d units apart. Let us say this is A, this is B. Now somewhere between A and B, let us say some point between A and B, let us say that is C. The distance is x. So the other distance will be what? D minus x. At C, the gravitational field intensity is 0 at C. Now, how to write that equation? Wherever the gravitational field intensity is to be found out, we know that we place a unit mass. So place m equal to 1 unit here. Now this unit mass will experience a force in this direction because of m1, in this direction because of m2, because gravitational force is attractive in nature. Now here what we can say? Here gravitational force on the C is same as force on C due to A plus force on C due to B. We can say this because it's a vector quantity, intensity is a vector quantity. Now please observe, it says that this is 0. So that says FCA minus, why? Observe, they are in opposite direction. So law of vector says that is minus. So from this we can say FCA should be equal to FCB. Now pass on the value of F. G, FCA at A it is M1 into 1 upon x square. This is equal to G M2 into 1 upon D minus x the whole square. This is what we get. G cancels out. From this what we can conclude? This means D minus x the whole square upon x square is equal to G cancels out. So M2 by M1. How to simplify this is take roots on both sides. So D minus x by x is equal to root of M2 upon root of M1. This is what we have. Now simplify, get the value of x. So D by x minus 1 is root of M2 by root of M1. Minus 1 you shift on that side. So you get D by x is equal to root of M2 by root of M1 plus 1. So further if you simplify, you will get x as root of M1 upon root of M1 plus root of M2 into D. This is what you will get as x. Also D minus x will come out as root of M2 by root of M1 plus root of M2 into D. This is what we get as the two distance, that is to say the position of the point C we can measure from A, then it is x. If you measure from B, then it is D minus x. So we got the position. See, this is what? The point between them. So we got the position or the locus of C we got. Second part of the question says, find the potential at that point. So now, potential at C will be potential at C due to the mass at A plus potential at C due to the mass at B. Why? Because potential is a scalar quantity. Therefore, because it is work done. So it's a scalar quantity. So we can say it is scalar addition. So VCA minus of G M1 by X. This is what we get as VCA minus of G M2 by D minus X. This is your CB, because we have just now in the previous topic only we saw potential is nothing but minus of Gm by R. That concept we are using. See students, we can take minus G, I can take common, M1 by X. X is what? Root M1 into D, and here root M1 plus root M2 you will get, correct? Plus M2 by root M2 into D, and in the numerator M1 plus M2 you will get. Please simplify further. When you simplify further, you should get minus g and d is common, and you must get root m1 plus root m2 whole square. This is the answer. This is exactly how we can simplify. I am leaving the simplification to you. Orally we can do it. D is common. Root m1 plus m2 is common. So m1 by root m1. So in the numerator 1 root m1 will cancel out. m2 by root m2, 1 m2 root m2 will get cancelled out. That is how we get whole square. That is exactly how, students, we can use the concept of, see here we have used intensity and we have used the expression for the potential. Both we have used. That is exactly how you need to be conversant with both the. Well, students, let us take one more question. This question is also from the concept that we have seen in the previous classes from gravitation. A rocket is fired vertically upwards with a speed of 5.6 km per second from the surface of Earth. How high will it go before returning back to Earth? Now see here what is given. It is given it is fired with a velocity of 5.6 km per second from the surface of Earth. So here what we can do is, total energy on the surface will be equal to total energy at a given height. This is what we can state. So total energy on the surface means kinetic energy on the surface plus potential energy on the surface is equal to kinetic energy at height h plus potential energy at height h. This is what we can say from the concept of conservation of energy. Now kinetic energy on the surface is half mu square because it is projected with a velocity of 5.6 meter per second. Potential energy on the surface will be minus of Gmm by r. This is what we can say, where m is the mass of Earth, small m is mass of the body or the rocket, r is the radius of Earth. Now, what will be the kinetic energy at that height? Please understand, at that height, it will momentarily come to rest and then Earth will pull it back to its surface. Therefore, kinetic energy at that height will be 0. Minus of Gmm by r plus h. This is what we get. Now let us try to simplify. This means half mu square. We can write this way, shift the other terms that side, and we can take Gmm common. So I will get 1 by r minus 1 by r plus h. This is what we get. So m can be cancelled out. So what we get now? U square by 2 is equal to, because m gets cancelled out, Gm and h by r plus h, and I will take here r. We can also simplify it. This 2 you can take it here also, cross multiply. Now this is what? This is nothing but escape velocity from the surface of Earth to Gm by r into h upon r plus h. So what we have now? R plus h upon h can be said as Ve upon u whole square. How much is escape speed from the surface of Earth? 11.2 km per second. And u is how much? So this is 11.2 upon 5.6 whole square. So that is how much? 4. So what we get now? This means r plus h is 4h. So r is equal to 3h. So h is equal to r by 3. See, this is exactly how we can solve. Students, please understand the conversion from here to here. don't substitute the value of the universal gravitational constant, mass of earth and radius of earth. It will become too complex calculation, too tedious. It is possible that you might stop solving after this. Don't do that. This is what is the trick involved in gravitation. You have to remember these conversions. It becomes very handy. See how easily it can be evaluated. This is what is to be understood. Let us take one more numerical to understand the concept of total energy concept. The question is like this: a rocket is fired from the surface of earth with 3 times the escape speed from the surface of earth. So what is given? U is equal to 3 times escape velocity from the surface of earth. Find the speed of the rocket at far away point. So here, total energy on the surface is equal to total energy at far away point. So what we can say? Kinetic energy on the surface plus potential energy on the surface is equal to kinetic energy on the faraway point plus potential energy on the faraway point. This is what we can write using the total energy concept. Kinetic energy on the surface is half mu square. What will be the potential energy on the surface of earth? Minus of, this is what we get as the potential energy on the surface of earth. Now what will be the kinetic energy at the faraway point? Let us say the speed is v, so half mv square. What will be the potential energy at faraway point? We know potential energy is minus of gmm by r plus h. Far away point, h tends to infinity, therefore this will become 0. Please understand, these are the concepts which are involved. We cannot do any adjustments. We have to do according to what is given in the question. Now what we can do now? We need what? Kinetic energy, half mv square. So what we can do? This is half mu square minus of gmm by r is equal to half mv square. See what we can write? U square minus 2gm by r is equal to v square. Take LCM, m cancels out, we can write like this. This is what? Escape velocity. So u square minus ve square is equal to v square. How much is u? U is 3ve. Simplify it. So what we get? V square is equal to 9ve square minus ve square. So v is equal to 2 root 2 escape velocity. See. So what will be the velocity of the rocket at faraway point? It will be 2 root 2 times escape velocity from the surface of earth. This is exactly how, see, we have discussed 2 types of concepts, but both of them are from the basic concept of conservation of energy. Just you have to find out which energy is going to remain, which will vanish. It all depends upon the question. Far away point is given. This means that infinity. So the potential energy vanishes. Kinetic energy will not. That because the whole of it will get converted to kinetic energy. See, we have velocity as 2 root 2 times the escape velocity from the surface of earth.